Brad Stevens had one job, and that was to build a winner. And boy, did he do that. As I said before the break, I think bringing Brad Stevens to Boston is one of the most significant moves in Celtics history. I don't think that's too strong to say. I believe it. We talked about how it's been, 11, 12 years at this point since everything changed. Doc walked out. You traded Pierce. You traded Garnett. Allen was already gone. The franchise was entering what you thought was going to be a prolonged period of tanking. Think about the state of the franchise when Stevens came here. And there were a lot of questions about hiring, the hotshot guy from college. He had lived that before with Rick Pitino, and there were a lot of questions about whether the Celtics made the right move. He basically instantly answered those questions by overachieving with groups he had no business overachieving with, kind of like what he did at Butler. And he was a good coach, a really good coach. Got a lot out of teams that he shouldn't have gotten a lot out of, the Bridgie Celtics and Isaiah Thomas and you name that. He helped accelerate the Celtics' return to relevance, which you felt like was going to take years. And that was no small feat, and we shouldn't forget that about the Brad Stevens coaching era. But as good as a coach as he was, he's been nothing short of magnificent as an executive since taking over for Danny Ainge, in a role that a lot of you felt that he probably didn't want to do or wasn't really ready for. Well, since taking over, he has been the best executive in basketball, and I would argue the best executive in all of sports. I think he's been that good. Nobody has been on a run in the 4 major sports that Brad Stevens has been on since he took over. It's been that good. Name a single bad move he's made. Give it a shot. We're here all night. George, we're here until 6 a.m. Kemba Walker for Al Horford. And they had to trade a first-round pick in that deal, too. A deal that Danny Ainge, I don't think, would have made. You mentioned the trade for Derek White. People said he gave up too much. He said it the day he traded for Derek White. He said he compliments our best players. And he couldn't have been more right about that. I mean, Josh Richardson in a first-round pick, Romeo Langford in that deal, it's a steal. Nesmith, don't forget Nesmith for Brogdon, who won Sixth Man of the Year last year, and then you flipped Brogdon. You tried to trade him for Porzingis. That didn't work out because of the elbow injury. And then you pivoted instantly and traded Marcus Smart, the guy who was the heart and soul of the team. I mean, Mr. Winning Plays himself. Traded him for Porzingis and 2 picks. The Celtics got draft picks. The Celtics got draft picks with Porzingis. It's a steal of the century. And then he flipped Brogdon and Robert Williams for Drew Holiday when the Dame thing went down because Holiday became available. That deal was done, 72 hours after the Dame deal went down? I forget exactly what it was, but it felt quick. I know it was quick. He didn't overthink it. The opportunity presented itself, and he pounced. I mean, he went in for the kill. As a first-time executive. We've seen the struggles of first-time executives in this town. Hein Bloom recently. I mean, Theo Epstein had his misses, and Theo's an all-time executive. I mean, Theo had his struggles. First year, bullpen by committee, you name it. Brad Stevens hasn't made a single bad move since he took over. A single bad one. I think it's one of the great runs I've ever seen a GM go on in any sport. I don't think that's too strong to say. He is quickly establishing himself as a Celtics legend. And I mean legend. I don't throw that word around lightly, especially with this franchise. One of the best decisions this team has ever made. And they've made a lot of good ones. I mean, put it up there, wherever you want. But you think about the million great moves the Celtics made over the years. I mean, the Pearson-Garnett trade to the Nets, trading for Dennis Johnson, drafting Larry Bird, Ed McCauley for Bill Russell, all that. I don't know where you want to put it. I'm not here to do a list tonight. I'm just here to tell you, bringing Brad Stevens to Boston is one of the best things this franchise has ever done, and I don't say that lightly with their history. Put it on the list wherever you want, but it's impactful, man. It's impactful.